So you've built an incredible app, and now it's time to actually turn all that hard work into a real business. But let's be honest, navigating Google Play's monetization policies can feel, well, a little tricky. You're trying to build a career here, not accidentally break some rule that gets your app delisted. That's why today, we're going to break down the official guidelines into a simple playbook so you can monetize your app the right way.
And really, this is the core question for every single developer out there. How do you tap into the massive opportunity of the Play Store without getting tangled up in its really complex web of policies? We're going to break down the key principles so you can build with total confidence. Okay, first things first, getting paid. Google has a really clear set of rules about this, and they all circle back to one key idea. Are you selling something digital, or are you selling something physical? Google's payment policy basically splits the world into two simple camps, digital and physical. As you can see right here, if you're selling something that only exists inside your app, or talking virtual currency, subscriptions, an ad-free version, you have to use Google Play's billing. But if you're selling physical goods like t-shirts or real-world services like event tickets, you actually cannot use it. Seriously, understanding this one distinction is the key to their entire payment system. To make this crystal clear, let's look at what Google actually calls an in-app purchase. It's not just about items in a game, it covers a huge range of digital stuff. Subscriptions for services like fitness or dating apps, unlocking new features in your app, and even cloud software services like data storage. The rule of thumb is if it's digital and you access it through your app, it falls under this rule. And believe me, Google is absolutely serious about this. You are strictly, and I mean strictly, forbidden from directing users to any other payment method from within your app. No little links to your website, no hey, buy on our site for a discount buttons. Trying to get around their billing system for digital goods is probably one of the fastest ways to get your app suspended. All right, let's switch gears and talk about ads, where that same idea of user trust is everything. If in-app purchases are all about fair value, then ads are all about fair presentation. The guiding principle is so simple. Just don't deceive your users. So what exactly does Google mean by deceptive? Well, it's basically any ad that tries to disguise itself as part of your app's interface or even your phone's operating system. The user has to know, without a single doubt, when they're interacting with an ad versus when they're interacting with your actual app. This is a perfect example of what we're talking about. See on the left, that's the violation. An ad that's disguised as a help icon. A user clicks it expecting, information, but instead they get an ad. It's a classic bait and switch. The compliant version on the right, though, is totally different. It's visually distinct, it's clearly an ad, and that kind of transparency is exactly what Google is looking for. And here's another one you've probably seen a million times. Ads that look like system notifications. You know the ones. They look like a new message or a low battery warning from your phone, and they trick you into clicking. This is a huge no-go. Compliant ads use standard, recognizable formats that don't try to fool anybody. It's all about that trust. Okay, so beyond just tricking people, Google also has strict rules about ads that are just plain annoying or disruptive. The whole goal is to make sure your monetization strategy doesn't completely destroy the user experience.
15. Just remember that number.
When we're talking about those big full-screen ads that interrupt everything, 15 seconds is the magic number. The rule is simple. You cannot trap the user in an ad. After a maximum of 15 seconds, you must provide a clear and obvious way for them to close it. Now, the only exception here is for rewarded ads, where a user specifically agrees to watch longer to get some kind of in-app reward.
And hey, the rules on annoying ads don't stop there. Here's a quick rundown of some other major violations. Ads that pop up in the middle of gameplay or right when a level starts. Totally forbidden. Same goes for ads that show up on your app's loading screen. And absolutely no ads that follow the user back to their phone's home screen after they've left your app. The ads have to stay inside your app experience. All right, let's dive into our last section, which covers subscriptions and a few other special policies. This is where long-term user trust is really won or lost. And honestly, it's an area where a lot of well-meaning developers can get tripped up.
This slide really nails the difference. The bad offer on the left is deceptive, right? It advertises a low monthly price, but it's really for a yearly plan, and it tries to hide the auto-renewal terms. The good offer on the right is totally transparent. It clearly states the full price, the billing cycle, and all the terms in the user's local language. With subscriptions, this level of transparency isn't just a good idea, it's a requirement. Now, this is a really fundamental idea you have to get right. A subscription can't be used for a one-and-done benefit. So, for example, you can't sell a subscription that just gives a user 1,000 gems on day one and then nothing after that. It has to provide continuous, ongoing value, whether that's access to content, new features, or ongoing services. If it's a one-time purchase, sell it as a one-time in-app product, not a subscription. Okay, and to wrap things up, let's run through a few final checkpoints that are super important. First, loot boxes. If your app sells randomized virtual items, you must disclose the odds of getting each item before the purchase is made. Second, user choice. You have to respect a user's decision to opt out of personalized ads. And third, lock screens. Unless your app is a lock screen, you are absolutely forbidden from monetizing the device's lock screen. Period. You know, when you step back and look at all these rules together, from payments to ads to subscriptions, they all point back to this one central idea. Google's policies are designed to reward developers who build sustainable businesses on a foundation of trust, not on manipulative little tricks. So as you head back to work on your awesome app, I want you to ask yourself this one question. Is every single payment, every ad, and every subscription offer you have designed to be clear, fair, and respectful to your user? Because in the long run, building that trust is the most valuable asset you have.